Hi, my name is Jennifer Nickel. I'm interpreting H.P. Menkes on how communication affects life. Now, education intervention. There's many reasons. I wish I knew them before. Now, how do people learn? There's a lot of different ways. Second topic. Maslow's theory of human motivation, really the hierarchy of needs. How are our needs met? One of the most important needs is communication. Now, how does communication develop? How is that applied to teaching deaf children? But this can also help you understand the reason for communication. Now, put aside communication. Now, how will you survive? You understand? Survive. How will you do that? Moving on. Now, for example, the hierarchy of needs, the theory of human motivation. How is that theory coincide with deaf education? Now, do you know IDHHCC, Deaf Hard of Hearing Committee? Now, that group, I was one of the leaders that helped establish and make it famous. I was controlling the activities to gain support, and we were part of the South Illinois Committee. There were other ones in the Northwest, the North, and the Northeast. So we all got together and we tried to gain support from our legislators, the lawmakers, gain some support from them. Now, there was a bill. When the bill was written, it's presented. And guess who was against it? Do you know who? Who was against it? VRS. That's right. They helped service the deaf and hard of hearing in Illinois, and why they were afraid to lose control over the deaf people that way. I'm telling you the truth. They were controlling, for example, over there in that area, it was controlled by VRS. And if the deaf people wanted to develop, the VRS would say, no way, we have to do it our way. But we were thinking we wanted to do it our own way as well. So when that happened, me and everyone else, we ganged together, went to our legislators for a hearing. And we had one hearing person. And why did we have a hearing person? That one person represented we wanted to represent ourselves. We wanted to be self-guided and self-directing. We didn't want to have to depend on VRS. For a long time, VRS was against us, and they wanted us to depend on them, but we wanted to gain independence. We wanted to stop the cycle of dependency. And we achieved this. The legislators voted, and it passed. Then it was presented. It was presented to the governor. and it was his choice to deny or to approve the bill. So in the midst of all this, the bill was sent back to the legislators, and they decided, and they voted. Now, for the vote to pass, we needed 104 votes. It was passed. We had 104 votes, and there was no one against it. It was a slap in the governor's face. He hated my guns from then until now. He just continued to dislike me very much. But that's another story. We were successful, and now deaf lives have improved greatly because more doors are now open for them, more services available. VRS limited us. They controlled us and limited us. Now we have many options and anyone to pick from. Now we have a feeling of pride that we can do it. We can do it without anyone telling us another way. It was a big win for us. Now I'm here doing services for the committee. Oh, wait. First, I helped establish the committee, and the governor now looks at me in disgust for doing that. But anyway, we waited for the governor to leave and for a new governor to come in. At that time, who's the new governor? No. Edward? He liked me. And I worked there for 10 years. For 6 years, I was doing something, and then for the last 5, I was in charge. Now, even though I'm deaf, I didn't always know how to sign. I needed to study about being deaf. When I first volunteered and I went in, they told me, "Oh, you're deaf. You're fine. You meet all these other requirements, but you're going to have to take a class regarding deaf culture and deaf history." I was like, "Really? I'm fully deaf. I need to take that? That's bullshit." But I took it anyway, and I'm happy I did. I learned so many things that I didn't know before. And what specifically did I learn? I learned that something was bullshit. Now, many years later, other people, they showed up and they had to do the same things. Hold on 1 minute. Let me look for this. The book When the Mind is Silent. That author. Oh, When the Mind Hears. Do any of you know that book? It's also a movie, yes. Well, this is the best from that same author. When the Mind's Silent. So this is When the Mind Can Hear. Now, growing up, I had a deaf cousin. He went to the New Mexico deaf residential school. He was a dropout, though he was very skilled at signing. He was my first cousin, and his father, my uncle, he owned a gas station. There, my cousin, he worked in the garage, working on cars. He learned many things, how the engine works, how to put it together, take it apart, fix it. It was very cool. So I didn't live too far, maybe 3, 4 miles down the road. So I went there quite often to visit him. And while I was there, I would pick up signs and he would teach them to me. Later, my mother caught me signing. She reprimanded me, told me, no, don't do that. Talk. My mother wasn't that smart on the subject. But back then, it was AGB's way. Do you know what that means? AGB? Yes, Alexander Graham Bell. Well, my mother, she went to California to join this organization, and my mother was taught how to teach me how to talk. Now, the people at this organization, they didn't teach me how to talk. They taught my mother how to teach me. I can't remember how long she stayed there for, but when she came back, it's when she started to reprimand me for signing. I was quite pissed off, but I kept that to myself. So I figured out how to sign from my cousin and just keep it from my mother. My cousin, he's the one I learned my first signs from. Then later, way much later down the line, after years of hearing school, the teachers, they would just pass me along. Finally, it was just very frustrating in high school. My parents, they saw the frustrations and they decided let them just send me to the deaf residential school. So I went, and it was a new world for me. I was out of my element. Never experienced this before in my life. For the first time, everyone was the same. There was hands flying everywhere, signs going around. My signs improved greatly. That the deaf residential, it like saves my life. It opened up my eyes, and I mean, sometimes I look back and I wonder where would I be if I haven't gone there. Be working on the cotton fields, plowing, tending to the earth, picking cotton. I'd have no future. But going to the deaf school, I got to learn, picked up many things, and I grew. Also, when I went in there, though, it wasn't easy for me. I had to make major adjustments. was it for 3 months. I couldn't even communicate with anybody. But after that, my skills skyrocketed. It was the best decision my parents ever made for me, putting me in that school. Bye.